Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to do some fractions. So, we're going to learn about fractions with the numerator or top number of 1. Okay? So, let's go. What is a fraction? So, a fraction is part of a whole. So, for example, if you have an apple and it's a whole apple in your hand, and you cut it into pieces, each of those pieces is a fraction of the whole apple. Okay, so you might cut it into 2 pieces, or 8 pieces, or 6 pieces, or 12, you know. But no matter how many pieces you cut it into, each of those pieces is a fraction of the whole. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so let's tackle our first fraction. This is 1/2. 1 over 2, okay? That means one piece of 2 equal parts. So 2 is the total, 1 is how many pieces we have. Okay, so we have one piece of 2. So for example, Farmer Joe has one delicious pie. He cuts it into 2 equal pieces to share with a friend, which was very kind of him. So the top number, the 1, is the numerator. Okay, that tells us how many pieces we are talking about. The bottom number, 2, is the denominator. It tells us how many equal parts the whole is divided into, right? So we want to know, it's telling us we have one piece in our hand out of 2 pieces that made up the whole pie. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move on. So let's practice again with 1/2. Farmer Joe has one watermelon. He cuts it into 2 equal pieces. So what fraction is each piece? Half the watermelon. You're right. Yep. So half the watermelon is each piece because 2 halves make one whole. That's right. Okay. So let's move on to 1/3, right? So 1/3 means one piece out of 3 equal parts, right? So Farmer Ben has one carrot. He cuts it into 3 equal pieces to share with his animal friends. So each piece is 1/3 of the carrot. So the numerator, that top number, tells us we have one piece. The bottom number, the denominator, tells us we have 3 total pieces. So we're holding one piece of a total of 3, okay? So if you put all 3 pieces back together, you'd have one whole carrot. All right. So then let's work on another practice problem for a third. All right. So we're going to go, there's one pizza, okay? One whole pizza. And 3 friends share it equally. What fraction does each friend get? Answer, each friend gets 1/3 of the pizza. That's right, because there's 3 friends and there's one whole pizza. So if you divide that one whole pizza by 3, you get 3/3 of a pizza. And each person is going to get one of those thirds. And that means that it's fair. Perfect. Now let's talk about 1/4 of a pizza. Or sorry, 1/4 of fraction. So sorry, still on pizza. All right, so 1/4 means it's one piece out of 4 equal parts. So imagine Farmer Ben's cornfield is divided into 4 equal sections. Okay, so we're looking at, imagine a square and it's cut into 4 smaller squares. If we look at just one section, that's 1/4 or 1/4 of the whole cornfield. So, what's our numerator? 1. That's right. What's our denominator? 4. Perfect. Great job. So, a farmer has one apple pie. she cuts equal slices. Okay, so see over here in the pie, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of pie. So what fraction is one slice of pie? Well, one piece or one slice is 1/4 or 1/4 of a pie. That's right. So when you compare unit fractions, right? So we're just covering these three today. So we have 1/2, which is the biggest piece, right? When you cut one thing into two parts, each piece is very large and it's half. So if you cut one thing into three parts, each piece is smaller than a half, but not as small as a quarter, right? And then 1/4 out of these three is the smallest piece. So when you cut into four parts, these pieces are the smallest of our three options here. Okay? Good job, guys. I'm really glad you came today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped make sense of some fractions. So remember that unit fractions have a numerator of 1, and a bigger denominator means smaller pieces. Okay, the bigger that bottom number is, the smaller the pieces are. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks for visiting Farm Math today. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. You guys have a great day.